I have proclaimed martial law in accordance with the powers vested in the President by the Constitution of the Philippines.
On 1972, President Ferdinand Marcos effectively put the entire power of government under the rule of one man, his king. This is the reality that people have faced. Curfew hours were enforced, group assemblies were banned, privately owned media facilities shut down.
During this dark chapter of Philippine history, thousands of people were subject to various forms of torture. Prisoners were electrocuted, beaten up, and strangled.
I may describe this in one word: cruel. Why? Water was poured down their throats, then forced out by breathing. Women were stripped naked and raped, and various objects forced into their genitals.
So, in this podcast, we'll take a look back at the martial law declaration and the consequent events that shaped Philippine history.
According to a myth, the Philippines enjoyed a golden age under the Marcoses.
On the contrary, it has been many years since then, but the victims have not forgotten.
We heard your cries.
Therefore, we shall.
Never again, never forget.
September 21 to December 31, 1972. On these days, President Ferdinand Marcos signs the Proclamation Number 1081 document, placing the entirety of the Philippines under martial law. One of the greatest nightmares had finally begun in this era.
On the evening of September 23, 1972, the late President Ferdinand Marcos appeared on national television to formally announce that the Philippines was under the martial law. Ang pagdeklara ni Presidente ay tinuturing na maraming isa sa mga madilim na bahagi ng kasaysayan ng ating bansa.
Bakit nga ba ipinatupad ito? Marcos upheld the statement, stressing the need for additional powers to suppress the growing wave of violence allegedly caused by communists. The Defense Minister, Juan Ponce Enrile, survives an assassination attempt, and Senator Ninoy Aquino is arrested.
Aside from the billions in illegally amassed wealth, human rights abuses were rampant during those days. About 70,000 people were imprisoned, 34,000 tortured, and 3,240 were killed from 1972 to 1981.
This is the story of Nericol Moranes, who suffered in the hands of his tormentors during the martial law. He was the former Bayan Muna representative, a member of the leftist political party Makabayan. At only 18 years old, Nericol Moranes experienced torture by using the Russian roulette.
Well, ang worst na nagawa sa akin probably was the Russian roulette. Yun ang hindi ko malimutan yun. Yun na ako sa isang kwarto, lasing eh. May English siya eh. Sabi niya, Neri, are you lucky tonight? Sabi niya, do you feel lucky? Sabi niya. Siyempre, tahimik lang ako, lasing eh. Kinuha niya malaking revolver niya. In-empty niya yun ng kitang-kita ko, in-empty niya eh. Nahuhulog eh. Oh, ito ha. Papasok lang ako ng isa ha. Pasok niya isa. Siro-rotate niya. Tapos pinasok niya gano'n. Sabi niya, tingnan natin if you're lucky tonight. Alam mo, pag nasa loob yung barrel sa bunganga mo, ang lamig. Kasi nervyos ka na, tapos malamig na aircon. Tapos, sabi niya, sige, tingnan natin if you're lucky. Tsamba talaga yon kung mabuhay ka o hindi, di ba? So, anyway, drain ako. Sabi ko, hindi, tahimik pala ako, wala akong sinasabi. Sabi niya, you're very lucky ah. Let's do it again. Merong isang asyenda sa Negros dati na walang tanim. The peasants were hungry. Alam niyo, may panahon sa Negros na tawag namin Tiempos Muertos, yung the season of death, na walang milling, walang pera, walang makain. Nagtanim ng kamote, may makakain nila. Yung pinakuha ng landlords. So, nagkaroon ng clash. Si Bishop Portich na mag-dialogue. Sabi ng mga farmers, mga sakada, mahirap mag-dialogue sa military at sa gobyernong martial law. Pero he convinced the farmers, 100 or so, na hindi, pumunta kayo sa gym, mag-dialogue tayo. Kasi I stood up for what I believe is right para sa taong bayan. Tapos tinest yung belief na yon And I thought, hindi ko kaya Na-torture ka, kinulong ka, all you have to do is say, yes, I give up, di ba? Yun naman ang demand ng martial law government sa'yo Learn how to be cowed to submission. If you don't learn how to be cowed to submission, we will crush you. Yun naman ang message So ang pinaka-lesson ko pala doon, you can stand up for the people and still survive.
Rhandell Maranes learned that you can stand up for the people and still alive. Dapat tayong tumulong sa sarili nating mga paa at tulungan natin ang ating mga kababayan na alam natin sa sarili natin na kaya din natin mabuhay mag-isa.
Yes.
He is Felix Daliza, the survivor of martial law. He wants torture in the term of Marcos. When he can't answer the question, they would kick him, hit him hard until his ribs almost broken. They tried to pump yang in his ears, and they would also press bullet against his fingers. He was known as a leader at that time, but the members of the police force and military arrested him. He was brought to Camp Crame for interrogation, at doon na nga nagsimula ang pag-torture sa kanya.
Kilala akong leader noon. So, ang mga umuli sa akin na nakakilala may kasama silang mga UP Police Force na nakakilala sa akin tsaka mga sundalo. So, dinala ako rito sa Campo Crame at saka matapos sa interrogation. So, during interrogation, tinali ang katawan ko sa silang may sandalan, tapos doon na nagsimula yung Kapag may mga tanong sila na hindi maganda ang sagot mo, so may sipa, tadyak, so merong karate chop, tapos merong, alam mo naman yung mga karatista dito, parang mabali na yung ribs ko dito sa tagiliran. Tapos may mga pompyang, kung tawagin namin ay pompyang, yung malakas na yung sampal sa makabilang tenga. So, meron din yung ipitin ng bala, ganyan, didiinan, ang kamay mo, talagang napakasakit. So, halo-halo yun, hindi mo malaman pa, basta. So, may mga kasamahan kami dyan, nasisiraan ng ulo. Meron tingin ng tingin dyan, lalo na yung bagong huli, nabuburyong. Paano ba naman magkakaroon ng healing process sa amin? Halimbawa, sa may amin, yung trauma andyan pa. Mabuti pa yung land of victim. Merong counseling. Kami wala. Hanggang ngayon, dala-dala namin yan. Kaya lalo na katulad dyan, maalaman lang namin po siya, Marcos Heroes Burial. Nabubwisit na kami. Nabuhay na naman yung dugo namin. Ang pinakamatindi rito, yung trauma Yung maalala ko yung nangyari sa akin. Balik-aral tayo. Mag-research tayo. Pansarili natin, para sa gayon, malaman natin yung kung ano man ang nangyari sa ating kasaysayan ng panahon ng martial law. Ang pinakamabigat sa amin, lalo na ngayon, binuksan na naman nila. Wala pa nga kami hustisya. Yung mga may kagagawan, tsaka mga Marcoses, tsaka mga alipuras nito. Bakit andyan pa sa gobyerno? Meron isang senador dyan, torturer. Ngayon, nakabalik na naman sa Senado, hindi ko nabanggitin. Grabe na, tapos sasabihin mo kampera raw kami. Nakipaglaban kami sa diktadura, alay namin yung buhay namin. Nakibaka kami, hindi namin inisip kung mabuhay, mamatay pa kami.
He said, how do we heal? We have trauma. Sinabi niya, nabuti pa ang mga Yolanda victim at natutulungan nila. They said that mas masakit pa para sa kanila ang mag-move on, especially now that the martial law is open again and they haven't even been given justice.
She is Trinidad Herrera Repuno, an urban poor leader whose fingers and breasts were electrocuted when she denied that she was a member of the Communist Party of the Philippines. She was the president of the Zone 1 Tondo organization, a group fighting for their rights to land ownership and housing. On April 27, 1977, she was captured by the Manila police, brought to Camp Crame for interrogation, and experienced a brutal electrocution.
Nakita ko ng mga pulis ng Maynila. Bago ako nila makuha, doon sa may malapit sa Katipunan, nagsisigaw ako. Sabi ko ako, si Catherine ng Zone 1 Tondo Organization, inuhuli ako ng mga pulis. May ginawa sila parang isang nasa ibabaw ng lamesa, nakalagay yung parang isang cell telephone. Tapos may naka-attach na wire na yung dulo uncoated. Tapos nilagay yung wire dito sa ano ko, tapos paikot, dito rin sa kabila paikot. Tinatanong niya, sino yung mga kasama mo? Di sinabi ko yung mga opisyalis ng Zone 1 Tondo Organization. Sabi niya, hindi yan. Ang tinatanong ko, membro ka ba ng komunista? Sabi ko, hindi. Tapos yun, iniikot nila. Pag sinabi kong hindi, ikot sila ng ikot. Yung current, yung kuryente, pumapasok sa katawan ko. Nilagay nila dito sa ano ko, na yung wire, nilagay na nila dito sa ano ko. Tapos ganun din ang tinatanong, pinipilit nila ako na membro ako. Hindi maaalis sa akin yung ginawa sa akin. Dahil tao naman ako, bakit ganyan ang ginawa nila? Ihayop nga, dapat hindi gawin na ganun pero tao. Kaya sabi ko nga, si Marcos hindi tao Gusto ko malaman ng ibang tao na hindi maganda ang batas militar. Yun ang gusto ko, yun ang mensahe. Kaya yung sakit, mawawala lang yan pag yung mga ibang mga kabataan, yung mga hindi na sila mag-idolize, yung mga ganong klaseng, yung mga tyrant. Alam nila yung mga pinaglaban ng kanilang mga nauna sa kanila para maramdaman nila ngayon yung nararamdaman nila na free sila ngayon. Isugat lang dito. Pero yung sugat sa sa dibdib mo, hindi pa rin kasi hanggang hindi siya nililibing sa batak, doon mahihilom lang. Habang nakikita mo siya na nandyan, parang yung iba nga ina-idolize na, doon maano sa dibdib ko Hindi ina-idolize yung taong pinatalsik ng EDSA Revolution.
Today, Herrera Repuno believes the wounds of the past can only be healed if today's generation gives significance to the freedom that Filipinos fought before. Dapat tayong matuto para hindi na maulit pa ang masiging pangyayari ito. Defend what's right. Ipaglaban ninyo ang nararataw. We mark the 48th anniversary of the proclamation of martial law by President Ferdinand Marcos last September 21, 2020. Bakit nga ba pilit pa ba nating ibinabalik ang masalimuot na pangyayaring ito? It is very essential to remind present and future generations about its baneful consequences to avoid falling into the same trap again. The following are worth remembering. Martial law did not give a better life to our people. According to H.W. Brands in his book Bound to Empire, the dictatorship made Filipinos poorer, with 60% of the population in 1986 living in absolute poverty, when in 1972, the rate of poverty in the Philippines was just 24% according to a World Bank study.
Here are some lessons that we should take note of. 1. National immigrants. Our political system has been dysfunctional since 1972, as the political system remains volatile, unable to recover its moorings. This is shown by unremitting attempts to amend the Constitution. Halos 10 milyong Pilipino ang pumupuntang abroad para lang magkaroon ng magandang buhay at masuportahan ang mga kailangan ng pamilya. Marami rin ang naghihintay sa foreign embassies, umaasa magkaroon ng tsansa ang makalaya sa sariling bansa.
Secondly, the new society dictatorship did not reform society as Marcos promised, but worsened its ugliest features. Sa ilalim ng rehimeng Marcos, maraming Pilipino, manggagawa, lalaki at babae ang nakaranas ng pagpapahirap, pang-torture at ang kawalan ng trabaho. Ang patuloy na paglabag sa mga karapatang pantao ay mananatiling walang hanggang pamana hanggang ngayon.
In brief, the Baker experience demonstrates that authoritarianism is not the way to national prosperity. Noong panahon ng martial law, its adherents, beneficiaries, and courtiers, kasama na ang technocrats, boasted that authoritarianism was the best political system because it allowed the government to move faster and more efficiently. But, like a train out of control, the government did move faster, but blinded by the corruption and greed of the engineer at the controls. It ended in a tragic crash, killing tens of thousands and enduring millions of innocent passengers, us, the Philippines.
Say that the coming polls are critically linked to the struggle for democracy in our country.
Naniniwala na sa tulong ng Panginoong Diyos, kahit na 1,000 Marcos, ang mga kalaban natin, mananalo pa rin tayo at may babalik natin ang ating mga kalayaan.
The opposition is planning a mock, kunyari lang, a stage, a false ambush. I cannot believe that people running for such high office can go to the extent of staging a false ambush and a false kidnapping.
Thank you for joining the Cry podcast. I am Caryl Elaine L. Quinto.
I am Rhandell Dequito.
I am Yuri Rubio. We heard your cries.
Therefore we shout,
Never again, never forget.